Every gaming PC and laptop has one of these, and its box is covered in numbers most people just guess at. VRAM, CUDA cores, ray tracing, DLSS. So let's fix that. Here is every GPU term explained, and exactly what each one means for the graphics card you actually buy. VRAM is the graphics card's own dedicated memory, measured in gigabytes, the headline number on every box. It holds the textures, frames, and data your GPU is working on right now, kept separate from your system RAM. The more you have, the higher the resolution and texture detail you can run before games start to stutter. The catch is that more VRAM won't make a weak card fast. It just stops it choking at high settings, and empty VRAM isn't wasted. Modern memory comes as GDDR6, or the newer and faster GDDR7. Here's the 2026 guide. 8 gigabytes is the bare minimum, 12 is the 1440p sweet spot, and the flagship RTX 5090 packs a massive 32 gigabytes of GDDR7. Quick one. If you like finally understanding the numbers on the box, subscribe. It genuinely helps the channel. These are the thousands of tiny processors that do the actual graphics work. NVIDIA calls them CUDA cores. AMD calls them stream processors. Where a CPU has a handful of big cores, a GPU has thousands of small ones, all crunching pixels in parallel. More cores generally means more raw performance, which is why the count climbs with every tier. The catch is you can't compare core counts across brands or generations. An NVIDIA CUDA core and an AMD stream processor are not the same thing. For scale, a budget card has a few thousand, while the RTX 5090 crams in 21,760 of them. That parallel army is exactly why GPUs, not CPUs, now train the world's AI. Clock speed is how fast each of those cores runs, measured in megahertz or gigahertz. Like a CPU, a GPU has a base clock for light loads and a higher boost clock when it's pushed hard. The strength is simple. A higher clock squeezes more frames out of the same number of cores. The weakness is that clock speed alone tells you almost nothing. A card with fewer cores at a higher clock can lose to one with more cores running slower. It also throttles itself down if it gets too hot, so cooling matters. Today's cards boost to around 2.5 gigahertz. The RTX 5090 runs to about 2.4. It's one piece of the puzzle, never the whole answer. Ray tracing is the feature that makes game lighting look real. It simulates how actual light rays bounce, reflect, and cast shadows instead of faking it. NVIDIA brought it to gaming in 2018 with the first RTX cards, using dedicated RT cores to do the heavy math. The strength is stunning realism. Mirror-accurate reflections, soft shadows, and lifelike lighting. The weakness is that it's brutally demanding. Switching it on can cut your frame rate roughly in half, which is exactly why the next term exists. The tell on a spec sheet is the letters RTX and a count of RT cores. Turned all the way up, it's the difference between a game that looks good and one that looks photographic. DLSS and FSR are the clever trick that gives you ray tracing without killing your frame rate. They render the game at a lower resolution, then use AI to upscale it back to sharp. And newer versions even generate extra frames between the real ones. NVIDIA's DLSS works only on its RTX cards. AMD's FSR is more open, and both jumped to true AI models in 2025 with DLSS 4 and FSR 4. The strength is close to free performance, often doubling your frame rate for a tiny hit to image quality. The weakness is that it can add slight blur or lag, and the best versions are locked to the newest hardware. This is the single most important feature on a modern card. It's why a mid-range GPU can now punch far above its weight. TDP is how much power the card draws and heat it makes in watts, and it decides your power supply and your case. A modern GPU is the hungriest part in your PC by far. Entry cards sip around 150 watts, while the RTX 5090 pulls a staggering 575. The strength of the number is planning. Match your power supply to it with headroom, or the PC crashes under load. The catch is the connector. High-end cards use the newer 12-pin connector that can push up to 600 watts down one cable, and it must be fully clicked in, or it can overheat and melt. Rule of thumb: check the recommended power supply wattage before you buy. A great card starves on a weak one. This is the spec that hides behind VRAM, how fast the card can actually move that memory. The memory bus is the width of the data highway, measured in bits: 128, 192, 256, all the way up to the RTX 5090's 512-bit. Bandwidth is the result in gigabytes per second. The 5090 moves nearly 1800. The strength of a wider bus is that it feeds the cores faster, so they never sit waiting for data. The weakness is the marketing trap. A card can advertise big VRAM on a narrow bus, which quietly chokes performance. 16 gigabytes on a 128-bit bus is slower than it sounds. So don't just read the gigabytes. Check the bus width too. Finally, the name itself tells you where a card sits. The generation is the family. NVIDIA's RTX 50 series and AMD's RX 9000 series are the current 2025 lineup. The tier is the two-digit number. On NVIDIA, 60 is mainstream, 70 is the sweet spot, 80 is high-end, and 90 is the no-limits flagship. The strength is that once you know the code, you can rank almost any card in seconds. The weakness is that tiers shift. A new 60-class card can beat an old 80, so a newer generation usually wins. The trap to avoid: a higher number in an older generation isn't automatically better. Match the generation and tier to your budget, and the whole lineup suddenly makes sense. So, put it together. And the honest answer depends on one thing: your monitor's resolution. If you game at 1080p, don't overspend. A current 60-class card with 8 to 12 gigabytes will max out almost everything. If you're at 1440p, the sweet spot, aim for a 70-class card with 12 to 16 gigabytes and strong upscaling. And if you're chasing 4K, you need the heavy hitters: an 80 or 90 class card with 16 gigabytes or more and a power supply to match. Buy for the resolution you actually play at, and you'll never waste money on frames your screen can't even show. And that's every term on a graphics card box, finally in plain English. If this made those numbers make sense, hit subscribe, and check out every monitor term explained coming next.